Hello all, welcome to Scrap Farm, formerly Scrap Kitchen, where I talk about starting a farm and also running a farm. Why the name change, you ask? Or maybe you didn't. Because mostly, while I love the kitchen, and hell, I've spent most of today there making salves and also paprika, I'm actually trying to make a farm. As wonderful as the kitchen is, I'm pretty sure it's pretty confusing to anyone trying to find out information on farming to see something labelled kitchen that's actually labelled farms. So that's my justification. And once again, it's been a busy couple of weeks. I've recovered from my wisdom tooth extraction and I have a jawline again. Rejoice. My jawline arrived just in time for my partner to leave and go visit his family in California. Hello, Goodmans. Which left me the solo manager of the farm for the past just about week. This also coincided with the big old winter squash harvest. We managed to finish just 6 minutes before the first raindrops fell, so now our bounty of squash are tucked up safe in the greenhouse, curing and thankfully dry. This week I also gave a seed keeping talk / demonstration at Belleville Library, and this time 8 people showed up, which is 7 more than last time. We talked through selection, collection, cleaning, storage and more, and it felt really wonderful to share something that I'm passionate about with people who asked a lot of questions and were excited to winnow for themselves. I might look into doing some more seed talks virtually and in person over the winter, just to keep this knowledge sharing going. So if you can think of a group or business that might be interested in a talk on seed keeping, get in touch. This week we also had a Girl Scout troop out to the farm. 10 or so 8-year-olds were let loose on the tomatoes. They tried the nasturtiums and the dragon beans, and they trailed through the spinach shoots, and they helped us with the winter squash harvest. Many tiny hands make light work and all that. It was wonderful to see them try each vegetable, especially since it was reported to me afterwards that they don't usually eat those at home. One of the great perks of this job, especially the U-pig element, is getting to see children interact with where their food comes from. There are many times when a customer will do something actually heinous, like ripping herbs out at the root or harvesting 50 pounds of tomatoes and deciding they don't want them and then hiding us for them to find a week later. But when I watch a tiny person peer up at pea plants or stroll purposefully towards their favourite vegetable, it makes it all worth it. Aside from the massive harvest and the influx of children, there was little to report on the farm over the past 2 weeks. The outside tomatoes have died the deaths, and the inside ones are hanging on by a thread, literally, because we trellis them with string, but also it's a metaphor. The tomatoes in the harsh outdoors die faster because we don't trim them like we do with the inside ones, which realistically we baby, and for good reason. They're left to grow as much as they can before the blight sets in, and boy has the blight set in. Mornings here are misty as all heck, a real pea super as they say. Driving in has been like driving into a dream. Some days it doesn't burn off until the afternoon, but as the last of the summer sun peeks through, it gets even prettier. Our sunflowers have been providing a lot of food for the local birds, and more are chattering on them than ever. This time last year, 2 massive murmurations of migrating birds came through and stopped us in the midst of our work. Thinking back on their non-Newtonian movement, on the non-Newtonian movement of hundreds of birds in the crisp autumn air is pretty magical, and I hope we get to see some again. In other farm news, the corn has gifted us with huitlacoche. This is a delicious fungus, oh hi cat, that grows out of the corn kernels or of its tassels. In Mexico it's considered a delicacy and you can purchase it fresh or canned, but sadly it's less well known in the US. But to have it growing on the corn seems like an honour. Fungus abound this week, actually, because our King's Stropharia, garden giant, wine cat mushrooms, God, they have a lot of names, are really loving the cooler weather and are springing up from their wood chip home by the dozens. We planted them along the high tunnel in the spring, and over the season their mycelium spread, and now the rain has brought on flush after flush. I have eaten mushrooms and eggs and toast for breakfast for several days in a row, and I'm not bored of it yet. Future farm updates. There are big movements on this front. Our business plan is officially in and we are scheduling a call with a prospective land partner in about 2 weeks. It feels a little too good to be true to even get this far, so I don't want to jinx it by oversharing. Suffice to say, we're excited, the land seems really cool, and I have like a little kernel of hope lodged betwixt my ribs. We've also been in contact with a lawyer to discuss the finer details of our visa application, succinctly as possible, since lawyers are not cheap, and this will give us the push/advice that we need to continue. It's only a month before we fly to the UK, and in that time we have to sell a car, get rid of lots of stuff, get some more information on the visa, ideally work towards getting a land agreement. And we have to do 3 more weeks of the CSA and get the farm ready for winter. It all seems improbable and daunting, and yet we must do it. So we're battening down, getting our shit together and doing all that. I'll let you know how it goes. Bye.